What this demo will be about is how you can host Orchid Core application on Ubuntu VPS, and VPS is basically a cheap way in which you can host your website online, and it's ideal for small websites. This is a very simple product that it has one module and the standard CMS web app. So how we can get these files to the server is either by using Visual Studio Publish or by GitHub Actions. So here I have this workflow, and you can see that it will run .NET Publish, and then it will copy it to the server. So there are secrets that you can enter, and this is a user who should have SSH access. And here is the target path. And I will explain later this step too. So here is my this is I will log in again. So because the build is taking some time, I already ran this, and I have all the files in this folder, like so there are all the files. And first step is to explain what you need to configure before you run this. So you need runtime of .NET, so you can install just the runtime. You don't need SDK because GitHub is building the solution, and also you will need Nginx because we will use that to basically expose the app to the domain. I have here on this machine two users that belong to the group Orchid Core. This is important because deployer will be basically sending files to the server from GitHub. This user is used to log in to GitHub will use this user to log into our server, and service runner is just the user who will run the background service, which I will show that now. Also, one more important thing that I must say is that because in the workflow we need sudo commands, and since we can't enter the password from GitHub Actions, of course, we need to edit sudox file which will give access only to few commands. So I will show that as well. So we need to run this too. So as you can see, I defined command that can be run without a password for deployer user. And as you can see, here are commands that can be run. Okay, now when I so that now I can now move to background service for Orchid Core. So you need to create these services are background services which will run as long as the server is running. So I have so this is what will run in the background. So we set working directory, and then we have this exec start which will run .NET command on this DLL and on this port. This port is important because that will be used in Nginx server block. So the app run on this port, and then Nginx will just expose that to the domain. And here is important thing, I'm using this service runner user to run this. And so that is it for this Cast Your New Site service. And finally, I will go now to Nginx, how you can configure your Nginx block. So Nginx have two folders. One is sites available and one is sites enabled. So you add your file to sites available, and then you need to create a symbolic link to just basically copy that to sites enabled. And I forgot nano command. Okay, so this is a really simple block. As you can see, I'm setting here, this root isn't important in our case, but server name is demo1@1.com. Then we have this proxy path which uses the port I mentioned, and then it just listens on port 80. Now you can easily configure SSL certificates and use secure port, but for simplicity I decided to keep this on port 80. And now, before of course you have to, once you finish with modifying your Nginx server blocks, you need to restart the service with running sudo service Nginx restart. And now going back to this workflow, as you can see here, I'm using this ch mode on these two folders. This is because you can see that these two users are belonging to the same group, then Service Runner can create new folders like app data or something in www root, but it cannot delete or modify what deployer has added to the folder. And then we just stop the Cast Your New Site and start it again, and this is because we need to restart the app. When we deploy new files and stuff, we need to restart the site to basically see the changes. And now I will open the domain which is here, and this is just the setup of workout call. So and here is that workout call site running. I will quickly enable the custom module that I have created. And I have created this basic route just to showcase the module working. So here is. And this module is created because I planned to actually publish the changes during this presentation, but since builds take some time, I didn't want to waste time with that. So I hope this wasn't too complicated, or if you have any questions, let me let me ask, please.
I have questions.
Okay.
Sudo, where is file? You said it's because we need to, for instance, set up .NET.
And sudo because as you can see, we need these 4 sudo commands to run here.
So what are the commands? Okay.
And because if you want to run a sudo from GitHub Actions, it will ask you for a password, and we can't enter password during the. And then
I know. I just want to ask what are the commands that you need to run as sudo to be able to deploy and run Orchard? So you mentioned installing .NET, but I assume it's not there, so that's not one.
Yeah, I forgot. You have to. You need the sudo to install. But if you log into the server with your password, then you don't have to. Actually, this username that mirrors that I am logging in, this is actually in the sudo group, so I don't need to define what commands I can run here. I just need to. I can run most of sudo commands with mirrors, but this deployer username is not in sudo group, so that user doesn't have any sudo commands to run, but I have with sudo x5, I gave that user just a few commands so it can use so he can run it here. So if I do this, you can see that I can run all commands, but let me just quickly change to the username deployer. I need to enter the password, but I will change this simple password later, so it's not a problem to solve. So password and okay, failed. Okay, I copied the wrong password. So this one. I'm making mistakes here, so and you can see that only this user can only run these commands. So it's just I don't know. Maybe there is a better way to.
No, I'm just wondering which apps you need sudo access for. And do you know why you need all of these? Can you explain?
Yeah, some of. Yeah, we actually need just for this. Some other of these are some for other sites. So I kept that, but we just need these sudo commands. Like I said, these 2 commands give service runner user to actually be able to write files to this new site folder. So we need that because we need to create app data folder and www root should be accessible to service runner. And then these 2 are just to stop and start the service. So maybe I could write some blog post about this because maybe it will be easier to explain some things.
What is a -R in chmod?
That's that means that it will apply this to all files and all folders inside
recursive. Okay, -R is recursive. Okay.
Yeah, recursive.
Okay, so 770 is for read-write permissions. -R is for recursive.
Yeah.
Yes, looks like you could have just done just 1-r on the new site and then.
So here is what it means. So I gave this.
Okay. Yeah, to execute. Oh, that's perfect. Sorry, what I was about to say is wrong, because the 770 is execute also, and you don't want to assign it to the www root folder because that's bad. You just want it on the root folder. Okay, good.
Yeah.
That deserves a comment in the thing, just to say that it's execute, so you don't want to provide execute. Yeah. Well, you are doing it, sorry. So that's bad. What you're doing is bad.
Yeah, and I'm intentionally not using R here because I want to give service runner user just ability to create folder inside, to create and write, but not to modify other files. So I mean, everyone should read more about these things because I'm not very experienced in these security things, but I read a lot about that. So this would be good starting point.
Yeah, the media it's not there, that's fine, but the www root, I will still not grant execute rights on www.
Yeah.
Okay, so these Appleboy, SCP, SSH, these are well-known extensions, actions to deploy. Run. Yeah. Okay.
And also the background service that I saw this based on this
it's a system service. So you are deploying. So who's installing .NET?
.NET is installed here. So.
And then you publish, but on the machine, on the VPS.
It publishes, I don't know, somewhere on GitHub, I guess, and then here it takes all of those files from publish and then copy it to my server.
Yeah, but what I see is that you are doing a framework dependent publish. It's .NET publish. I don't see here self-contained publish. I just see publish.
Yeah.
Which means on the server you need .NET.
Yeah, you need .NET runtime.
Why don't you then deploy in self-contained so you don't need to install .NET on the server?
Well, I didn't think about that, to be honest.
And the other advantage is that you won't have to maintain your server version, because then you can just ask your GitHub extension, GitHub action, to pick up the latest version and redeploy when there is a new version. So you don't have to go to the machine and install a new .NET.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
On Azure, for instance, it's the opposite, because Azure will maintain that and it will update your website, right? But on a VPS like this, you have to. It's better, actually, I think, to self-contained deploy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point, and I will probably update to create a new workflow with.
Now, can you open the Nginx configuration?
Yeah, I will. Sorry. So again.
Because Nginx here is a reverse proxy, right? Because you use Kestrel.
I'm wrong username here. So, what and so. And I'm not. I'm pressing tab to get these suggestions. So here is it.
Okay, so here it's server location proxy path. So you're using your reverse proxy forwarding to localhost 11,000 where your Kestrel server is running in the daemon. And this thing will be slow as my Texas Instrument calculator. Because by default, Nginx uses HTTP 1.0 to communicate in proxy, which means every request will create a new connection. So this is a bad, I'm just saying this is a bad server configuration for Nginx proxy. At least you need to do the proxy HTTP version 1.1 to get performance on that.
Okay, thanks. I really didn't know about that.
You should do a benchmark just for fun. Just run do a client load generator to later, right? Just to test, to see how many requests per second you get on the homepage from your machine. And then you add one line, which is the proxy HTTP version 1.1, and you do the same request, and you will see how faster it is.
Yeah.
Just to have an idea. And then you update all your .NET applications because it must be slow.
I will do that too. And
do you know where you took this configuration from? Maybe it's on the .NET website still.
Yeah, I think that actually I use these configurations with standard MVC apps, and then I just see that.
Because I think I remember we mentioned that the doc was not up to date and we had to update it, and it has never been updated. Yeah, you see, this one is good. We updated it. Boom.
Yeah, you did. I used it. I use probably configuration from 3.1 .NET because
so this one is better, and also the set headers for the X forwarded, such that the public domain is forwarded for the URL generation. Otherwise, it's not, right? Because we have the middleware that will use the public URL instead of the internal proxy URL. Like, you don't want to see 11,000 URLs, you want to see the public one. Okay, good. So you should pick this one. This one is much better.
Yeah, really great to see that. I will definitely update that. And so.
Okay, that's it. That's all my questions. Technical questions. Thank you. Also, I learned about VPS because you mentioned VPS, Ubuntu VPS. I'm like, what? It looks like something well known, and so I googled it, and yes, it's some kind of standard hosting tech that is provided for most of Linux hosters. So
I mean, the point of this presentation was just to show that Oracle Core can be hosted on. Doesn't have to be Azure or some other or services like that. It can be hosted just like PHP apps, for example.
But Azure is still better.
Yeah, I'm not really saying this is just for maybe small sites or hobby projects or something like that. Just that Oracle Core can be hosted that way too. But I'm sure that Azure is way more powerful than.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Awesome. Other questions for Milos?
Perhaps I missed it, but why are you using Nginx in the first place? You don't want to expose the ports 80 and 443 from Kestrel?
Well, because I'm using more sites on this server, so I can have one. I can use just port 80 because then I can have just one site here.
Oh, okay, I see. Why not multi-tenancy then, by the way?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear well.
Why not multi-tenancy, by the way?
Yeah, with Oracle Core, probably I can do that, but I also have some MVC apps, so.
Oh, okay.
So this server is just you know, like I have a lot of things here, so
Okay.
it's not just Docker core on this. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's understandable.
And now there is a native support for Let's Encrypting and Nginx that you don't have mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you as well for great tips.